Alright guys, so this is what we're gonna be making today. My name's PINKAS and I just want to say thank you for tuning in on this tutorial. It's my first one, so be kind if I'm a bit of a noob. Anyways, you're gonna be doing a couple of things before we start. So first off, you're gonna need After Effects, of course. This is an After Effects tutorial. Other than that, I need you to follow this tutorial for making water, which is about by a guy named Ignace Alea, I guess. I'm gonna be linking this video in the description. So just follow that one, and you can follow it until the 6-7 minute mark when it starts doing the texting. We don't need that, so just do it until this mark. Other than that, you're gonna need a plugin called SABER, which is free by Video Copilot, which is a really good plugin. If you don't have it already, it is really useful and it's just great. You're also gonna be needing this VHS filter pack made by a guy named Max NOVAK. I use most of his filters in almost every post, so I definitely recommend downloading this. Everything is going to be in the description, so just look there. You're also going to need this screen glitch footage, which is kind of crappy and kind of epileptic, but we're going to use it anyway. I didn't find anything else, and we're also going to need this blue screen file, which I will link in the description. Alright, so let's just go ahead and start by making a new composition. I'm gonna call this one main. I use 1080 by 1080 as my Instagram size. If you want to use something else, that's fine. I'm gonna go with 25 frames per second and a 10-second duration. So just start with that, and I want black background, and we're gonna start by doing a new solid. I'm just gonna call this one BG for background and make it black. And yeah, I think we're good. This is, by the way, my third time recording this, as I fucked it up 2 previous times, but we're not gonna talk about that. I'm just gonna be making this tutorial. So Control D on this layer to duplicate it, and I'm gonna call the top one SABER. So this is where the SABER effect comes in. I'm gonna go over to Effects and Presets. Yeah, so my computer is a bit slow loading stuff like that, but we'll make it work with what we got. So just take that SABER and drag it onto this layer. I'm going to be using the neon preset. So just the neon, there you go. Alright, and we're going to go over to the shape tool, and I'm going to select polygon tool. Just make this a big polygon and move it to the center. By using this title action save thing, we can actually get it in the center much easier. So the way I make a triangle in this program is actually just deleting those two, and we got a triangle. If there's an easier way to do it, sure, you can do that. I don't know any easier way, so that's my way, and that's what we're doing. So yeah, we can kind of move this, make it a bit smaller, and move it to the middle. Not like that, but like that. And then we can go into the SABER settings, customize core, make it a layer mask core type. And then we get this triangle. Looks pretty good. It's a bit intense, so we're going to turn down the glow intensity a bit. I think I like something like this, like 63%. You can just mess around with this as much as you'd like. I'm not going to be doing that too much, as this tutorial would be really long if I'm going to start messing around. So you can just do it yourself if you want. So in the GIF or in the GIF, there's an animation here where the SABER is kind of growing. So what I'm going to do is at around a bit before 2 seconds, I'm going to go and into the end offset here, which is at 100%, and just make a keyframe. Then I'm gonna go a bit back and maybe at the start here and make a new keyframe at 0. So what will happen then is that the SABER core will grow from 0 to 100. And I think it's a bit fast, maybe. Why is it so fast? Yeah, okay, I think it's a bit fast, but we're gonna like maybe expand that one bit, little bit, and I want to press F9 on those 2 keyframes. Go into the graph editor and slow it down. It kind of make like this hill shape, which makes it slow in the start and then slow in the end. So it's quick in the middle, but yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, that's how I like to make it. And we can start now by importing the first I'll make a new folder called art and another one called comp for composition, so I'll just put the comp inside there. And art, we're gonna be importing the blue screen, so I'm just gonna try and find that real quick. Okay, there you go. Yeah, there's a blue screen file, just find that and try not to be as slow as me. First off, we're gonna select the SABER layer and turn the mode, the composition mode, I'm not sure, add, we're gonna make it into add. And right now this looks really ugly, but we're gonna fix that. Go to effects and presets, search for levels, drag that onto the blue screen layer, which is now your second layer. And what I want to do now is kind of remove the black background, or I want to remove the blue background on the text. So just pick this one and drag it to the right, and drag this one to the right as well, drag this one to the left, and this one to the right, this one to the left again maybe. I want this like slight blue color on the text because it looks kind of glitchy, which I like. And yeah, I think this looks alright, so I'm gonna go with this. Maybe it's a bit extreme, so just tone it down a little by doing not that, but that. Yeah, I think that looks alright. So now I'm gonna try and move the text into the triangle. I think this looks pretty good. Yeah, I think this looks something like this. Yeah, and we can take it down a bit as well. So something like this. Yeah, and then I want to grab the shape tool again, or I want to grab the pen tool actually. So just don't select anything, just start shaping things. So 1 point in each corner here, and we'll have like a triangle shape. And what I want to do with this is just fill white with no stroke, put it above the blue screen layer, and make that the alpha of the blue screen layer. So now we can only see it inside the triangle, which is exactly what we want. But we also want movement on this blue screen layer. So what I'm doing now is just pre-composing it and move all attributes, and I'm calling it blue screen movement. That's alright, double click that and just delete this layer inside and go back here and go back and select the alpha matte. Maybe that's a bad way to do it, I'm not sure, that's my way to do it. So yeah, just select this layer. I like to duplicate it 8 times, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, something like that. And we don't want any alpha right now, so just no track matte, select that. Start with the top one and just mask it out, and just do the same with the next one. We're just gonna kind of separate the text here, and yeah, you'll just see me when I'm done with this. Alright, that's the last one. And now we have every text layer separated, which is kind of what we want. Just try one here, you know, that's just that one. Nice. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want the text to come in and moving in to this triangle. So the triangle is finished at around a bit over 2 seconds, so we can start it here probably. I'm just gonna drag a tag here so I know when the laser is finished. It's around at that point. So I'll probably have that animation for 2 seconds, or the text moving in. So I'll just go 2 seconds ahead, something like this, and press P for position. And just make a position there, and then go back to this point and move everyone to the left. Make sure you have every layer selected here. And then I go back to the main one, and I see that it isn't completely outside the triangle, so just a little bit more, and we're good. So let's see, I think that's alright. And now I want to select all the keyframes, and these ones as well. Press F9 as we did before. And this time I want kind of a slow end and like a faster start. I think that's alright. If we can just have a look here. It's a bit slow, my computer is a bit slow, I will just have to accept it. And let's see, yeah, I think that's alright. Maybe you can do a bit slower, but I'm not gonna be that nitpicky. So just select all the layers here and press Ctrl click to unselect the top one, and then push everyone to the right, and then unselect this one and push them to the right, and just do that a couple of times so we get this delay which make each one arrive at separate times. We can see how that would work. It's pretty cool. Alright, it's pretty cool. You can see in the triangle here, And yeah, it looks pretty good. So I'll just save this and we'll go back to my project settings. Now we want to add the water. So you have the water comp here if you finish the tutorial. I made this pink for some reason, so I'm just gonna make it back to blue, which is this color, something like, was it something like this, maybe? Yeah, I think so. All right, so we have the water here. We go back to our main comp. I'm just gonna remove those two water comps. So yeah, tag or drag the water and put it above the background but below everything else. This is kind of cool, but it's not what we're gonna be making today. So just grab the Eclipse tool to make a circular mask and then click on this water layer and go switch modes, make it a 3D layer. And then we can click on transform and orientation here to make it flat, kind of, on the ground. I like to use 270% because I believe that is mathematically correct, even though I'm not very good at math, but I think so. So yeah, we got it on the ground there. Now we're going to go into the mask and just pump that feather up to somewhere around, I think around 300 is pretty good. That looks like water to me. And I'm going to turn the opacity down to, I think 15% should be good. So then, yeah, in the tutorial you made sure that the water is actually moving, which it is also here, which looks kind of nice. So let's just see if, yeah, that looks good, I think. Yeah, I think that looks good. Now the next step is to make the reflection. So what I want to do then, what I want to do then is just pick the 3 top layers, which is all kind of the triangle layers with the text and the shape and the saber. Just pre-compose them, move all attributes, and I'm just going to call this saber again. And I'm going to switch the mode to add. Then we have the saber on top. I think my saber is maybe a bit big. We can scale it down a bit. Yeah, I think we should. So just scale it down a bit and put it right above the water. I think I want the water a bit higher up, something like this. And then the saber a bit higher again. Yeah. So just duplicate the saber by Control D. And then I want to go to Layer, Transform, and Flip Vertical. Now we get this cool pentagram, but we're not going to be making that. We're just going to be moving it below so it looks like the reflection. Starting to look good. We can see what we're doing right now. Go into effects and presets and search for corner pin, which is a kind of distort effect. I just grabbed the reflection layer and put it below the other one. I'm just going to rename this reflection for clarity's sake. And what this corner pin does is it gives you 4 corners or 4 pins in each corner of the image, so you can just kind of use them to distort the image. And this is what I do to make my fake reflections. Maybe there's an easier way to do this, I'm not sure. As I said, I'm not an expert at After Effects. I'm actually not very good, but you know, I make things and they work for me. So yeah, this is how I do it. So I'm starting to think that this is looking kind of correct. You can use a lot more time here if you want to make it look perfect. I think I'm getting close to satisfied. So yeah, I'm just gonna do something like this, I guess. I think that looks alright. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. We have this nice reflection right now. So what I want to do just to make it a bit more cool is to move the reflection 1 frame back. Even though that might not be realistic, I think it's cool that the reflection is a bit later than the actual laser movement, so it takes a bit more. I think it looks more realistic. I'm not sure. It's probably not correct, but I like it, so you know, sue me. Next we're gonna do another solid. Just make it black, doesn't really matter. Okay, I can explain what I'm doing right now, because to me, in my head, or I forgot about something. Sorry, we gotta do something else first. So the reflection one, it doesn't look, it's too clear. So first off, I'm gonna add a camera lens blur to just blur it out a bit, so it looks more like a reflection. Yeah, I think the default setting is kind of good. Maybe we can turn it up to 6. You can, yeah, you can mess around here if you want. I think this looks okay, and I also want to turn the opacity down to probably something like 60% maybe. That's a bit weak. Let's go 70. Yeah, I think 70 is alright. So yeah, in my head at least, when the water is this black, you can see the light much clearer, if that makes sense. I'm not sure. Does that make sense? I'm not sure, but we're gonna do that anyways. So yeah, the new layer I made back a couple seconds ago, we're gonna be selecting that and have a gradient ramp on top of it. So just put it on top. And what I'm thinking right now is that the light should be down here, so we're just gonna black out everything else, like so. Then we're gonna duplicate the reflection, and we're gonna take this gradient map above the duplicate, and we're gonna make it invisible, and then we're gonna alpha matte this reflection. So what will happen now, if I did it correctly, no, we're gonna luma matte, I'm sorry, luma matte, is that it's gonna be a little bit brighter at the outside here. And I think it's a little too bright, so we're gonna be turning down the opacity a bit, probably something like 20%, 30%, something like that. I think that looks alright. Yeah, I'm kinda happy with what we got right now. Starting to shape up into something cool. I'm just gonna go to third with preview quality, so I can actually play this without having to wait a week. And yeah, just gonna play this one again. Yeah, I think it's starting to look pretty good. The text looks really blue right now. That's because we're using preview mode third. In full, it looks how it's supposed to be. So yeah, I think we're done here, and we can start pre-composing this. So let's go into the comp folder and make a new comp. I like to call this one Tricolor, which is an effect in which we separate every color layer of this composition. So we have the main one, which we just made. I'm gonna go into effects and presets, and an effect called set channels. This is an effect I used in most of my work, in which you can separate the color channels. So in the top one, I only want red on and green and blue off. In the second one, I want red off and green off and only blue on. And in the third one, you guessed it, only green. So just select all those three and go to blending mode, add, and then we get color. So what I want to do now is select all, go to transform and put them at scale 101%. So we get a little bit of leeway on the sides here. And then we're going to be starting by doing the top one, which is red, and click and drag it a little bit to the left. And then the second one, which is blue, a little bit to the right. What we got then is this kind of 3D, old 3D effect, where the red is a bit stronger on the left side and the blue is a little bit stronger on the right side. I'm just going to see how this affects the text, which I think is most important. It looks kind of shitty, but also kind of cool. I think maybe we can take it a little bit, take it down a few notches, so just like make them a bit closer. So depending on how close or how far away you get them from the middle layer here, the more extreme. So if I put it way down to the left, you get this extreme look. We're not gonna be going for that. We're just gonna have this subtle look. So something like this. I think that's alright. So yeah, let's we're done with this, the tricolor effect. Let's go back to the project and make a new composition. And I like to call this one filters. So this is where the Max NOVAK pack comes in. Just take the tricolor layer and just drop it down here. We're gonna be importing a new folder called, I'm just gonna call it filters. And you know what? I forgot something actually. Let's go back here. So yeah, we're gonna be going into the SABER thing. And yeah. Sorry about forgetting this, but it doesn't matter, we can just do it now. So yeah, we're gonna be importing another thing as well. We're gonna be importing the screen glitch footage, which we got just here. Just put that on the bottom and just make it invisible unless you want epilepsy, which I don't. Search for displacement map and drag that onto the blue screen movement layer. As you can see, this yeah, this kind of make this a glitch effect. So we're going to be using the displacement map layer and selecting the screen glitch layer. So it kind of takes info, color info from this layer and transforms it into this layer. So right now it's gonna be looking really glitchy, a little bit too much. So we're gonna be toning it down. It's at 5 right now. I think 0.4 probably is a good number for this. I just wanted like a subtle shake, and I think maybe 0.3 then, just to be sure. You can mess around with this as much as you want. I think this looks alright, and I'm gonna be going with this. So yeah, now we're done with this first main comp. So let's go back to Tricolor and filters, and we're gonna be importing some filters. So just import Max NOVAK's pack, which I got right here, and just import all of them. We're not gonna be using all of them, we're gonna be using a couple, but you can just experiment with which ones you like. I really like this one, which is the VHS80 After Effects Premiere Glitch effect, which you can also call it. It's one of my favorites. I use it in almost everything. First up, we're just gonna be scaling it up a bit and make sure, and then move it to the left, and we're gonna be going forward a bit because okay, it takes a few seconds for this layer to kind of start. Just delete that first part and move that over. Go to blending mode. I think we want add hair once again. Then we're just gonna turn the opacity down to something like 30%. We can try. I think I'll just turn this one down to 3rd, so we can actually do some work without having to stop. That looks kind of cool, if I can say so myself. Kind of liking this. Let's just check it out at full without slowing my PC down to a halt. I think we're alright. Yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna turn it down a little bit more, probably 25. I think that's alright. And yeah, that's the first filter we're gonna be using. We're also gonna be using, I think, static noise. Let me just see, static noise, is this the one? No, not that one. Static overlay. Yeah, static overlay. Just grab that, put it into add, and scale it up. Scale it up. This is just click and shift, by the way, to maintain the aspect ratio. And what we get here is just these white lines. I'm going to turn this down to 3rd once again, so we can actually see what we're doing. So we get this kind of white lines popping up. It's a bit bright, or they're a bit strong. So I think this one down to 25 as well. I think that looks pretty good, if I can say so myself. I'm starting to like this more and more now. You can just check it out at full. Just give me a second and I'll show you how it looks at full. So yeah, that looks pretty good, if you ask me. There's one thing I forgot about, or actually two things I forgot about. I'm sorry once again, it's just me being a bit slow. We're gonna be going back to the first layer here again and gonna be doing layer. I'm sorry, we're gonna be move a bit forward in time here. Then we're gonna go to layer, new, solid, and just pick the color of this laser here, so something like this. Okay, and I want to put this one down probably above the reflection. Also, we're gonna be going to 3rd. Then I'll just make a shape on this layer as a mask, and I'm gonna be moving this like above the water. So what this is kind of supposed to be is a light reflection, I guess, from the SABER effect. So just feather it and turn the opacity down, something like this. I think we can use a lot more feather and move it a bit more down there. Yeah, okay. So probably around 20%, I guess. And yeah, so I want to have it at here when the laser is done. I want to have it at 100% or at 20%. And when I go back until we can barely see the SABER, just have it at 0%. So you can kind of see this added light here, which I think makes a nice effect. Maybe have it a bit kind of broader and something like this. I think that's alright. Yeah, and we're gonna use F9 again, smoothen it out, go to the graph editor and make it slow at the start and slow at the start and slow at the end to match the SABER effect. Yeah, that looks pretty good. We can also add a play button, which is something I use a lot of the time in my videos. So just type out play. This font is called VCR OSD Mono. It's commonly used as a VHS font. You can just download it and find it online. Just gonna put it up there so we can get this old VHS effect. And what is cool now is that this new text layer is gonna be affected by the Tricolor effect. So we also have it here, which is kind of neat. And now we're actually getting close to the end here. So I'm just gonna turn the quality down so we actually can see what we're doing. It's starting to look finished, I'd say. But we're gonna do one more thing, which is go back to project in comps, make a new comp, and I like to call this one CC and grain. And let's get into that. Let's import the filters one this time. We're gonna be doing a new effect called add grain, and this is for this extra VHS quality. So just go to preview mode or viewing mode into final output. Take the opacity or the intensity a bit up. And take the size a bit down, something like 0.8. So you can see it just adds a lot of grain. Normally when you post on Instagram kind of kills effects like this, so you have to turn them up to make them kind of look ugly on the PC, but they look good on Instagram. That's my experience. So yeah, you can just experiment and try different things. I think this looks kind of neat. Just gonna be going back to full again just to see what it looks like. I think this looks good. You kind of get that VHS 80s feel, which I'm all about. So the last thing we're gonna add is a lumetri color, which is kind of color corrector. And I'm really bad at coloring stuff, but we're gonna be sliding something like this, going a bit up and down, maybe up on that one. You can just experiment here. I have no clue what I'm doing, but just make it look cool and add some color to the project. So yeah, I think we're pretty much finished right now. I don't think I forgot anything. This looks pretty much like what I made in the GIF. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. But yeah, I'm just gonna render this out and then we can check it out at the end. Alright, so my slow ass computer finally opened my Adobe Media Encoder, so I'm just gonna show you my render settings. If I just go to default here, custom, okay, whatever. So yeah, not anything special. I'm just using maximum depth here, and I'm going on CBR instead of VBR and 30, and maximum render quality. That's pretty much it. So yeah, see you at the end, guys. Alright guys, this is the finished result and I think I'm pretty happy with it, and yeah, thank you for tuning in on this tutorial. Make sure to like and subscribe if you liked it. You can also follow me on Instagram where I post a lot of this stuff, and you can follow me on Twitter as well. I'll be making some snarky comments. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the flip side. Alright, goodbye.